Hello. For the series Steam in the 21st Century, today we have come to the Isle of Purbeck in the southeast corner of Dorset. Here, the Swanage Railway runs between Norden Station near Corfe Castle in the north and Swanage Station, which is only a few minutes' walk from the sea, in the south. On a visit to the Swanage Railway, a walk around Corfe and a visit to the castle are, I think, also a must, even if you are not interested in the long history that surrounds this remarkable ruin. The views from the top of the high natural mound it stands on are worth the climb on their own. Here we are on the front at Swanage. Ahead you can see the pier, which was built in 1896. The beach is constantly winning awards and the sea is clear and safe for bathing. Before the arrival of the railway, Swanage was a quarry town. Afterwards, it quickly became known as a pleasant little watering place with a good beach. Quite a good way to describe this excellent small seaside resort even today, I think. This is Swanage Station, where we're going to start our visit. The original station was built here in 1885. But in 1937 it was extensively refurbished to handle the ever-increasing traffic. Like all heritage lines, the Swanage Railway relies heavily on volunteers in all departments to help its approximately 20 permanent staff run the line smoothly. If you live in the area and would like a new outlet for your talents, the Swanage Railway would make you very welcome if you contacted them. The goods shed you can see with the green door, when first built, cost around £600. Since then, it's been extended twice, in 1898, later in 1937. It's now used for carriage and wagon restoration. Also, the railway internal telephone exchange is controlled from there. The train you can see arriving now is headed by a Great Western Railway 6400 class locomotive, which was introduced in 1932. It was a collect development of the 5400 class and was intended for light passenger work. This engine, 6412, the Flockton Flyer, must be on loan here or it has changed hands, as it was originally preserved by the West Somerset Railway. It's hard to tell the 6400 class. Six 412 is going to couple up at the other end of the train after taking on some water. It will then be going back to Norden Station.
What they're filling up with? Yeah, out that part.
When Swanage Station was originally opened in 1885, it was the end of a branch line worked by the London South Western Railway. North of Swanage there is an intermediate station at Corfe Castle, and the line joined the network near Wareham, where a new station was built to accommodate the additional traffic. Although it's a nice bright sunny day, there's quite a wind blowing. Six 412's ready for coupling up now. Before this line was eventually opened by the London and South Western in 1885, other companies had taken an interest in crossing the Isle of Purbeck too. The Southampton and Dorchester Railway, for example, had put two bills before Parliament 40 years earlier, requesting permission to build the branch line, for they had seen that there could be great potential in serving the many clay deposits and stone quarries that were spread across the area, and this on top of any revenue earned from passenger traffic. However, the S&D's dreams of making substantial profits in the area came to nothing, as objections raised by the people of Wareham over the proposed route the line was to take through their town were upheld. The old Somerset and Dorset Railway, or S&D, was known by some of its users as the Serene and Delightful. By others, it was more harshly called the Slow and Dirty. In 1861, 24 years before the London and South Western actually started to work the line, it had also proposed an earlier plan to reach the clay deposits. This plan was also dropped in the face of fierce opposition from the people of Wareham, who again accused the planners of siting the line too close to their town. For the small population of Swanage, before the railway arrived, travelling was difficult and expensive. The provisions required by the townspeople were shipped by boat on a daily basis, weather permitting. This service was also assisted by carrier cart 3 days a week. In the second half of the 19th century, Swanage, with its beautiful beaches, was becoming more and more popular as a seaside resort. So much so that it became obvious to the townsfolk, if they wanted to benefit in full from the many holidaymakers wishing to visit the local beauty spots, the building of a railway link from Wareham should be given priority. George Burt of Purbeck House was the man that finally got things moving in Swanage, and it was mainly by his efforts that on the 18th of July 1881 the Swanage Railway was authorised by Parliament. I'll take this train to Norden so you can see some of the beautiful countryside you pass through should you want to visit the line. The authorised share capital of the company set up to build the branch line from Wareham to Swanage was 90,000, and it was arranged that the London and South Western Railway was to work the line. The London and South Western also had the option to purchase the finished track should they wish to after it was opened. This small station, Hurston Hall, was built in 1984 and was not part of the original railway. It is a request stop which, as you might guess, is much used by holidaymakers in the summer. Construction of the original Swanage line began on the 5th of May 1883 and was completed 2 years later, and coincidentally also on the 5th of May 1885 the track was ready for representatives from the broader trade to inspect it. For this job a locomotive pulling a London and South Western director's saloon was used. The inspectors were happy to approve of what they saw, and 11 days later a special train from Waterloo made the run to Swanage, carrying directors of the line along with many dignitaries. These were all to be George Burt's guests at Swanage. The picturesque station we're now pulling into is called Harman's Cross. Again, this station too was not built for the original line, and it was opened in March 1989. It acted as the line's northern terminus from then until 1995. Harman's Cross is now the main crossing point between Swanage and Norden. Throughout the season, the Swanage Railway holds several special events, during which Harman's Cross plays a major role. These include Days Out with Thomas, vintage vehicle rallies, the Grand Steam galas, concerts, dog show and giant car boot sales. So there's plenty for everybody.